everybody, Temi here. I'm back with another plan with me in my Moleskine daily planner for the 47th week of the year. I'm going to be adapting the format of this daily planner to incorporate some spreads that I need for my work and personal life. So please grab a warm drink, get cozy, and join me as I go through this setup. My setups are usually very simple. I actually often use the exact same colors for each week of a particular month. However, I accidentally misplaced my pens from my previous week setup, so I had to use slightly different colors for this week. But I did end up choosing ones from the same color family. So hopefully at the end of it all, the whole month of November will look somewhat consistent. I'm again using 4 different pens and a gold watercolor paint. All of the supplies will be listed in the description below. The first pen is a dusky blue marker. This one is the Ohuhu number 22. The second marker is a gray marker with a slight blue tinge, and this one is the Ohuhu number 20. The third is a muted blue paint marker from Archer and Olive. It doesn't have a number, and I don't remember which exact collection it was from, but I think it was from either the Warm Fall or the Cool Fall collection. The nib size is the 3.0 millimeter. The final pen is a 0.5 millimeter fine liner from Sakura Micron in black. The gold watercolor is from the Coliro watercolor set from Fintech, and we're using this second deeper gold. Turning now to the actual rolling weekly. As per usual, I took a spare piece of paper from a grid moleskine Kahir journal and I pasted it over the Sunday of the previous week. This gives me a little bit more additional space for the rolling weekly and also lets me fill out the rolling weekly a little bit more uniformly. The first thing I'm going to do is make a header for this rolling weekly. For this week, I decided to do a simple waxing and waning moon set. First, I'm drawing the moons using the blue paint marker. I then go in and add header dividing lines above and below this little doodle using the 0.5 fine liner. After the paint marker has dried, I'm going in with the 0.5 fine liner to outline the moon and the waxing and waning crescents, which gives this little doodle a bit more definition. I used a circle stencil to give each of the moons a fairly even circle, but in the end, I think I actually preferred the slightly wobblier lines a little bit more. So I went back in and I messed up the lines a little bit. To make the actual title, I'm painting a spare piece of paper from the Moleskine Grid Kahir journal with the dark gold watercolor. After this dark gold watercolor dries, I then go in and write the title, tasks, and the week number with the 0.5 fine liner in cursive. I then cut out the title and paste it into the center of the header. Then I go in with the 0.5 fine liner to write the first letter of each week in cursive, along with a dividing line to form the actual rolling weekly. After that, I use the gold watercolor to color in the columns of the rolling weekly for alternating days of the week, in this case Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. This helps me discern which tasks are associated with which days a little bit more easily when I'm actually using this rolling weekly during the week. I also color in the title of the header a little bit more with the gold watercolor for a bit more definition. I also go back in with the 0.5 fine liner after the watercolor paint has dried to re-outline the title and the days of the week because they got a little bit lost under the watercolor. And then we are done with the rolling weekly. Next, we are going to be adapting the daily pages of the Moleskine planner for my preferred schedule. The pre-printed time ladder for each page is from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Because I'm a little bit of an early starter, I usually cover up the pre-printed time ladder so I can write different times over them. For this particular week, I've decided to cover up the pre-printed time ladder with a rectangular block using the blue Archer and Olive paint pen. After the paint has dried, I'm going in with the 0.5 fine liner to add my time ladder from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. After that's done, I move on to a little section at the bottom of the daily page for my most important tasks of the day. With my current system, I like to leave space for 4 tasks. A primary task associated with 8 dots, which each represent 30-minute increments. 2 secondary tasks associated with 6 dots, which each represent 30-minute increments, and finally a single tertiary task associated with 4 dots, which also, you guessed it, represent 30-minute increments. What you see me doing here is drawing in the various dots representing the various 30-minute increments for each of the primary, secondary, and tertiary tasks using a stencil. I also draw a square box for each task, which lets me fill out how long a particular task actually took. During the week, I will cross out each dot as I complete each 30-minute block. As per usual, I am coloring in the dots for the primary task in gold watercolor. I'm also coloring in the dots for the secondary tasks with the light blue number 22 marker. I then go in and repeat adapting the time ladder and creating the task area for each workday of the week. space for a time ladder for each of Saturday and Sunday. For this particular setup, I decided to do a symmetrical time ladder for Saturday and Sunday rather than having both of them on the left side. After the paint pen dries, I go in with the 0.5 fine liner to add the time ladder from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. I then add a little header for Saturday and Sunday. To make these headers, I am again painting the spare piece of grid paper from the Moleskine Coliro journal with the dark gold watercolor. After the watercolor paint dries, I then go in and write the weekday, the numerical day, and the month with the 0.5 fine liner in block letters. I then cut out the header and glue it onto the weekday page near the top. Finally, I go back in with the blue paint pen to draw some little moon doodles and outline them again with the 0.5 fine liner once the paint pen has dried. And then we are done with the setup. I have officially prepared my journal for the upcoming week. Now I'm going to do a quick little flip through of the pages that we've set up. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you had a fun and relaxing time planning with me. Bye for now.